Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to those on the European continent. We hope that you've had a good week so far and a continued safe summer as we head into the second half of this rather difficult year. We do have our fingers crossed for more positive developments and rooting to end the year on a good high. Welcome back to the fifth and last sequence of the ATF Blocked In Series 2020. This 45-minute session will give us an update on the matured and experienced market that Hong Kong is known for. We are privileged to have with us veteran buyers from varied platforms in Hong Kong. With us today, we have David Boudouin, Sales and Acquisitions Director of All Rights Entertainment, Jojo Wong, Senior Director of Cheers Media, Meg Lee, AVP Content Management from View, Michael Dick, SVP of Acquisitions for Fox Networks Group, Asia Pacific, and Ruel Ferrer, Director for Content Acquisition from MediaLink Entertainment. We are also really excited to have Teo Kia Ling, Senior Analyst for Media and Advertising from Omdia, who joins us as this session's moderator. She will begin the session with a quick overview of the market, sharing some exclusive statistics. Let's welcome Kia Ling as we begin this session.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope everyone is safe during these uncertain times. I'm honored to lead this session today, and I hope this gathering will offer you some valuable insights into the media and entertainment industry, looking at the market of Hong Kong. The goal of today's session is to take a closer look at the Hong Kong market, peek into the mindset of content buyers, commissioners, and distributors, and reveal the current state of content alignment here. If you look at the slide, we can see that today, Hong Kong is a market that generates $1.5 billion of advertising revenue. With a 7.5 million population, Hong Kong advertising revenue per capita is near to $200. This proves that Hong Kong advertising market to be a rather mature one. For comparison, in 2020, Indonesia and India advertising revenue per capita will stand at $10, whereas more mature markets like Singapore and Japan at about $250. According to Omdia, the market has 2.6 million TV households, which generates around $800 million in revenues, of which 40% is from TV advertising and 60% from pay TV subscription. Hong Kong offers a fairly strong internet connectivity with 88% broadband penetration of 2.3 million broadband households. In 2020, online video advertising revenue will reach around $190 million, and OTT subscription revenue fast approaching the same level at $160 million. If we look at the chart at the bottom, it shows the broadcasters' TV advertising revenue to be impacted by the effect of COVID-19 in 2020, including cancellation of major sports events and the wider economic uncertainties. However, we expect it to recover gradually from 2021 through 2024 as the impact of the pandemic subsides and market sentiment improves. The online video advertising market is and will continue to be dominated by global players, YouTube and Facebook, in the next 5 years. However, it is worth noting that local broadcasters with their own online video services, MyTV Super and View, will increase their collective market share from 28% in 2020 to 32% by 2024. The pie chart at the top right corner shows programming spend by local TV companies in 2020. Free-to-view broadcaster TVB is the biggest spender, contributing to 37% of the market's programming spend. This is followed by PCCW, which operates View TV, View, and Now TV, and then public broadcaster Radio Television Hong Kong and pay TV operator iCable. And now, without further delay, I would like to invite our panelists for a compelling discussion and hope to go through as many questions as possible. Let's start with Meg to kick off this segment. Meg.
Hi.
Meg, can you help us to understand in general and from your point of view, for those who are looking to find new opportunities in Hong Kong, how can they actually enter Hong Kong market in order to sell successfully?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Meg. Yes, basically, Hong Kong people have a wide range of interests on content. And all good content providers have chance here, and we are welcome them. Take us Viu as an example. We have launched in 16 markets with 41 million monthly active users. Hong Kong is the first launched market. Viu ranks #1 by number of users in many regions and ranked in the second place in IAP revenue, monthly active users, total time, average time per users in many markets. We are acquiring many different content genres. In Hong Kong, we will keep on buying the successful Korean content. We have a few months before we have A World of Married Couple, which gets the record high TV ratings in South Korea in this year. And we also got the highest TV rating drama last year, Sky Castle, and they perform well here. And we have Japanese animation like Demon Slayer and anime Slam Dunk. Rel is here from Media Link. Yes, we are quite anime series of Food War. Yeah, so we are good partners. And also we have Chinese content from China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Eternal Love of Dream gets really good viewership in both Hong Kong and Singapore. We have also international content partners. Discovery is providing us international lifestyle content, and you see that we are partnered with many partners and genres. And on top, we are also producing our own Viu originals. You can watch the Pretty Little Lies produced in Indonesia, an English teen mystery adapted drama. And also the My Bubble Tea, a rom-com produced in Thailand. Yes, we are always welcome for all partners to join us. And of course, they have good content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. And Michael, looking at your specific platform as studio, as channel, and now OTT, what is your take on this? How do you think a content seller can enter the Hong Kong market to sell successfully?
I think, and I'm assuming this has been covered a lot throughout the week, but it's a very strange time at the moment. And as tough as it is, I think for content sellers, opportunities are going to be coming up soon. There's going to be holes that I think a lot of us are going to find in our schedules in the near future, as theaters have been shut and theatrical films aren't going to be available. The normal pipeline is going to stop. If it hasn't already, it will soon. On the series side, there was no LA screenings this year. What's going to come in the fall schedule is pretty unknown. So if you're a content seller that has new content, I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities for you, and it would be a good idea to start trying to find out where those are going to come from. As I know, we're having to look at what contingency plans we're going to have to make based on what content we expect will come, and having a plan B, and also looking at what content we know will not be coming now and how we're going to manage to navigate those waters. And it can be new content, and there's probably going to be more opportunities in the near future to look at some library content or recent content that didn't find a home over the last few years. Potentially are going to be things that people are going to go back and have a look at. So it's going to be a very interesting time as the business is getting tougher and tougher. And I think there's a lot more consolidation. So opportunities have been disappearing. And this is one very positive thing that could come out of this, where people can manage to find homes for content, or people, and myself included, will go looking for content in places I wouldn't have 6 months ago or a year ago. So it's a very, very interesting time.
Yeah. And let's hear it from Jojo from a distributor's point of view. What factors do you take into account when dealing with buying foreign content for local distribution?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Jojo from GS Media, and I hope all of you are safe. So on behalf of GS Media, we can actually seeing the trend changing along with our food setting in this industry for the 20 years. And we acquire and syndicate for the world and for potential and popular program since 2004. So when we come to consider everything like the genre for our client or bot timer to their local expectations, almost our like very first question from our clients to the program would be like, what will be the original language? Like I would say this is also one of the important role that how audience sense of pleasure in watching, and whether they can provide us the scripts or subtitles. And this is probably no doubt for our considerations. And for example, like in Hong Kong, we will prefer the program in English, Chinese, or Korean other than in other like Western languages. And also we will consider the country of origin and the genre of the program, whether this is made in Asia or from the Western territories. And we also like taking into account whether the content is like of religious content or have any cultural barrier. Like for example, we have licensed one of the Christian animations from the States, and then we licensed to one of the Christian channels in Hong Kong, and then we provide them the English scripts, and they will have it localized and subtitled and dubbed in Cantonese. So I think this is, for my understanding, it is quite interesting to consider this kind of criteria when we are bringing the program to Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And David, can you jump in at this point and tell us what sort of foreign finished products have worked for you so far? And for example, will Indian or Singaporean content work? And what about Spanish or French finished product?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is David at All Rights Entertainment, taking care of acquisition and sales. So for us, actually, we, of course, do mainly international acquisition. So regarding the Hong Kong market, I have to say it's very tough. As everybody said earlier, it's not easy actually to get into the Hong Kong markets, especially right now about when we are talking about theatrical, as Michael said before. Now we need to change the view and see how can we change the direction of selling content and of course acquiring content for Hong Kong especially. But I would say because of the theatrical window now is kind of dead for a long time, to be honest. So we focus now on content available, I would say, for example, for Asia, mostly for Asia, not only Hong Kong, but for Asia, for example. So of course we can consider content from Singapore or India. There's no problem with that. We always consider content from everywhere. However, I would say we need to find the right content for the right platform or right window. So this is very difficult, to be honest, right now. I just finished recently the virtual Cannes market because everything now is online. So I was attending the virtual Cannes market. We had a new movie called Ip Man Kung Fu Master. Actually, it's from China. So this one was actually very good selling. So for acquisition, we just had like Mandarin version with English subtitles. We are like working now on an English dubbing actually. And this title, of course, works pretty good in all platforms. Regarding theatrical, I would say is right now at the moment, we cannot predict. We have no idea what's going to happen in the next months. because most of the cinemas right now are closed in the world, including China and I think recently Hong Kong also, because there's a new wave in Hong Kong. In terms of European content, I would say is a good setting. So we still acquire from Europe, of course. We had recently some dramas. So we work either with local distributors in Hong Kong or directly with TV channels, paid TV channels or VOD platforms. Yeah, so far it is a situation for us. We do acquire a lot of animation, I would say, because this is a good thing in terms of languages, of barrier of language. It's easier to break through when you have animation, because in terms of dubbing, you don't have too much trouble.
Yeah. Great. Well, as a distributor, again, can you add to David's comment and tell us what successes you have consistently seen when buying foreign content for local distribution? And if this is what you will continue to focus on moving forward?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Ruel from MediaLink. Finished content like animated TV series, dramas, and movies have always been being consumed by audiences in not just in Hong Kong, but across Asian region, especially animated contents that target kids to adults even. So our group company, being the first of its kind distribution company, third-party owned media content to be listed on the main board of Hong Kong Stock Exchange, has been in this industry for more than 20 years. And we have seen various content trends, even seeing and experiencing, for example, the consistency on anime contents booming in Asia. So in fact, seeing and foreseeing these trends allowed us to launch new platforms, such as our own platforms, an OTT channel called Anyone, which is anime for everyone, which is now being carried by various local OTT operators in Asia, and even with a YouTube channel that already garnering more than 330,000 subscribers today. So especially animated TV series and movies that resonate to the core fans in Hong Kong and also to the rest of Asia. So may it be like boys action, slice of life, romance comedy, sports themed, or even music-driven stories. We continuously seek for these kinds of contents, as we believe these are success buys until now, and we believe even in the years to come. So.
Great, so it's mostly animation for you. And Michael, seeing how there are attendees today from over 41 markets across the globe interested in the Hong Kong market, can you tell us what sort of foreign content will you consider?
I'm very lucky in what content I'm looking for, and over the last several years, we've been merging together the different channel groups that have all come under the Fox brand and now the Disney and Fox brand. So I'm buying a little bit for the Disney Channel, for Nat Geo. We have 4 general entertainment channels, 3 movie channels, and 3 sports channels. So it's everything that I'm looking for. And how do I start to hone that down? I guess the marketplace is becoming a lot more crowded or fragmented, with traditional TV still being around, competing with its own OTT services, as well as third-party OTT services and the international OTT services. So it's becoming a lot harder to find content, or for the subscriber to find content. So it's really helpful if content has some sort of obvious hook or some sort of name recognition, which is, I think, why, again, we see a lot of sequels coming on series and movies, and why it helps to have a known local celebrity or an international celebrity that's known in Hong Kong to help promote something. So we can help promote it on our own services and channels, as well as social media and local news to help people find what content is coming and where it is. So a lot of that's pretty obvious, but it's becoming more and more crucial. It's harder than ever to find even a gem of a show and try to grow it if it's something new or something novel. And especially, again, going back to the tough times we're in, I think anything lighthearted or fun shows do a lot better now than any sort of serious, dark, depressing show. So I think everyone wants something to uplift them now more than ever. And that's showing in what we see people trying to watch, as well as then just big blockbusters, and Marvel movies are always good.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Meg, back to you. Looking at content acquisition pricing, has this changed significantly with the entrance of international players like Netflix, Facebook, and YouTube? And how are local players coping with it or benefiting from it?
Yes, we are focusing on providing premium contents. Yes, recently there are many OTT platforms in the whole world, and internationally and regional, and even local contents, OTT platforms. Content price is speeding up a lot, and every platform has their own audience profile and strategies. But for Viu, we have launched for 5 years as an advanced and well-established platform. Our content acquisition team would base on our accumulated data to analysis our audience favorites, interests, so as to acquire the right content in a more scientific way. And we can even measure the ROI through by title, by episode, and even by minutes. And all this can help us to get the right content. As I said, not only acquisition, we will also invest on content assets and producing the Viu originals. Right now on our platform, you can find a Bridge Season 2, which is produced with HBO in Malaysia. And last year, the Asian Academy Creative Award, we got the Best Drama Series. The Season 1 got the Best Drama Series and the Best Adaptation of an existing format. And you can watch these contents in big title in Hong Kong and all our markets. So I think that's more players. That means there are more demand on the good content. So for Viu, we are working hardly to fight for the good content and providing to the audience.
Jojo, do you agree with Meg?
Yes, and actually we can see now for general public like us, we have many choices for watching, like YouTube, Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, HBO, and blah blah blah. So I think these kind of over-the-top media honestly do play a very important role in our daily lives, and that will really make the license fee drop a bit. When we sell to the traditional like pay TV, free TV, or satellite TV, because the TVC has already trimmed down, and the advertising dollars also drop a lot. So, but even this kind of make it harder for pitching the program from us when the content are already available on VOD like Facebook or YouTube. But we often see this as a good sign, because it could be helping the people to get more exposure for their program. And if I tell some of the TV channel that Netflix has buy the show for their platform, then they will think they will have pretty good impressions for the program, because Netflix, they always make a good pick for the program, and that will help us to sell the program as well.
Mm-hmm. And David, how difficult do you think it is for foreign production houses to break into the experienced Hong Kong market, and why is this so?
Okay. Again, I think it's foreign content for Hong Kong markets. It's a bit challenging, I would say. Of course, there's a lot of platforms, or video companies that can acquire this kind of content. RTHK, actually, they do quite a lot of documentaries, like, for example, Heritage. or discovery, you know, from different countries, from the UK, from Spain. You can have like a good program like about the wine, about the food from Spain or Italy or wherever. In terms of foreign content for feature, for example, I would say it's more challenging again because regarding the theatrical window, it's very difficult. Foreign languages movies. So some, of course, some art house distributors are very good at that, like Edco or like First Distribution, you know, these kind of companies. But after, I think it's more about the right movie at the right time for Hong Kong. You know, you can sell anything you want, you can acquire also anything you want. You just have to be sure that this content can, you know, break through and can work. Of course, it's easier, I would say, like to have like a content like from Asia for Hong Kong markets, definitely. But for European picks or, you know, for American movies, except the blockbusters, of course, independents can work. Of course, it depends. It depends of the pick and the interest of the local distributor.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Royal, what do you think?
Well, actually, I agree with David, but to add further, so as you know, Hong Kong is an international city, territory. So all kinds of contents you can actually see because Hong Kong market is varied and audiences have discriminating tastes. So even local production is strong in this territory. So it all boils down to which content stands out. And then we evaluate actually contents and look for those that best resonate the core being of the audiences. So what resonate their culture, their beliefs, their journey as a human being, may it be in the form of anime, movie, drama, or general entertainment. Then these contents would definitely be the ones that will stand out. And our company tries to maximize various resources and focuses on deepening our content ecosystem. So this is for sustainable growth. So we believe all contents have an opportunity to expand to another form and generate additional revenue streams. So we do creative buying and innovations, and then investments in co-productions, and expand collaboration with our partners and customers. And these are some of what we have been continuously doing to consistently break through.
Okay, sure. Before we continue, I would like to mention that there will be a polling segment happening right now. So please do take part while we continue to engage in this discussion. Moving back to Meg, how important is localization of content such as dubbing or local stories? Say when a content is dubbed into local language, the quality of the content is affected to a certain extent. For example, the voices of the original actors cannot be heard, or viewers may experience unnaturalness when the lip synchronicity is inadequate or simply not good enough. Do the local viewers accept this?
Yes, our audience like the Cantonese dubbed content a lot. We can even see the viewership of a particular title has a second peak when the dubbed version launched. Fans would watch our simulcast contents within 8 hours with the original local language based on the telecast broadcast in the original market. Since dubbing would take time, and when we launched the dubbed version, maybe a few months or weeks before, after, the viewership still can have a boom up again. And I think that's localization is important for all contents. And watching the contents with their familiar language and can help a lot on the viewership and the loyalty to the audience to the platform.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jojo?
Yes, I think localization of content like dubbing is very important. Like if we localize the show in our own language, let's say Cantonese, then that will help the locals to understand the program much better, and also break the language barrier and also the cultural barrier, because different cultures need different like translations and localizations. And it also like happens like when we go home and then we turn the TV on, and sometimes we don't even watch the TV and just let the TV and then listen to the show. Like that applies to some of the housewife or some of the kids like paying, they don't even watch the TV but just listen to the show, so they can still understand what stories the program is. So also like localizations, dubbing like Cantonese in colloquial dialogues would be also very important in the movies, because it's kind of like one of the selling points for the movies and for the animations as well.
Mm-hmm. And Michael, as a global platform with popular IPs, is this something that you think about as well? Is it necessary for the Hong Kong market, you think?
I think for all markets, but definitely for a market like Hong Kong, localization for us starts with the content we select. And the theme, or really what it's built around, has to be locally relevant. It doesn't matter if you find a show that's not going to resonate with people in Hong Kong or in a market when they don't understand really any of the characters or the story, or they can't, they have no shared experiences that they can translate to their own life. You can do whatever you want to localize it, it still won't work. So the very core of a show needs to be relevant to that market. And then you really do just grow your audience with every little thing or some big things you can do to make it more locally relevant or locally accessible by dubbing or subtitling it. And we've also found it's very content specific. Some big blockbuster movies, Hong Kong is a very advanced market and a very global market. And they often want the international actor, they want to hear them. So subtitling often does a lot better than dubbing, but it changes as you go down to kids programming where it needs to be dubbed. And there are series or certain channels that fall in the middle. And it just needs to be fairly standard in the approach that we take, so people know what to expect. But as everyone I think has said and agreed, localization is important. And I think everyone is going to have to go deeper and deeper and find more ways to localize the content just to create, to enable wider access. So it's something we focus on from the very beginning of what we acquire or what we produce. And I think that's only going to increase as time goes on.
Mm-hmm. David and Ruel, what are the top 3 elements that stop a content from flourishing in Hong Kong? David, would you like to go first?
All right. Yeah, I was thinking about this question, and to be honest with you, it's I don't know what to say exactly. Maybe the language, yeah, for sure. The language can be a barrier, but of course, after it depends on the content again. If the content is relevant for the market, you can always, you know, like either subtitle or dub the content. There won't be any problem. So. Yeah, of course, if you have a movie, I don't know, like in Chinese, let's say a local dialect or something like that, it would be difficult for Hong Kong market, I would say. But then again, yeah, it depends on the relevance of the content. And what else I can say? Animation works. I would say TV series, animated TV series would work better for Hong Kong market than feature-length animated. Feature-length, like animated features, is not that easy if you want to broadcast in Hong Kong. I mean, for all the windows. So, yeah, I mean, from my experience, animation for Hong Kong markets, like let's say for theatrical, for example, it's very, very tough. After, of course, you can still broadcast it on TV. But if you want to fulfill the whole windows, theatrical window, VOD, TV, IPTV, whatever, that's not easy.
Well,
I believe there are numerous elements are at play here. So one of which is actually the kind or quality of content being offered in the territory. If a certain content somehow does not validate the belief and aspirations of the audiences, then that content will not get high affinity towards its target audiences. So we have to bear in mind that there are story limitations and sensitivities that have to be considered in the contents that we show. So since we acquire not just for Hong Kong, but for whole Asia, we try somehow to carefully assess the flexibility of the program, whether it can be shown to which territories. So studying the psyche of our audiences play a vital role in evaluating potential content buys.
Nice. So Meg, what types of content are you looking to buy or to co-produce, and what do you feel is lacking today?
We are keep on searching contents for our audience. Besides the regional Asian contents like the Korean drama amongst views countries covered, we also sourcing local contents for different markets individually. And audience research and content research, this is always the way to understand the market, what we need and what the people like. In the first week of August, we will going to have a new genre in Hong Kong and a huge series of regional drama in our Southeast Asian markets. But I need to keep it secret here. Yes, we'll let you know that. Keep watching us.
Exciting things are coming up.
yeah, very soon.
Yeah, good. And last question for the panel before we move on to the Q&A session. Any last advice to those looking to sell finished products or co-produce with Hong Kong? Michael, would you like to go first?
I think now more than ever, with there being a lot of confusion and complexity in the rights and windows that people are supposed to sell to or fit into, I think just the more flexibility you can have on what rights are included and holdbacks, and just a broader range of rights that can be made available is extremely helpful now, as that's something that's going to be changing, I think, very rapidly in the near future. And as a content aggregator that provides our channels to content partners and affiliates, we need to provide them with the most flexibility that we can to offer the content and products to as wide an array of media as possible. So that's something that's definitely going to be a big focus going forwards. Do we have are the rights that we need available, and can we ensure that we have them and the exclusivity and holdbacks that we need to ensure there's value retained in the content. So looking forward to ensuring that that's all covered when content's brought to market is pretty important for us.
And what about Jojo?
I think Hong Kong is quite high acceptance in different genre of the program, and we are pretty flexible for different kinds of program. Like if they have the good quality animations, movie, drama series from Korea, UK, or US, or some of the slapstick comedy series animations, I think they can produce these kind of shows because like long dialogue animations doesn't have any language barrier, and we can save costs on dubbing as well.
And David?
Yeah, for us, actually, it's more simple, I would say, because we do acquire normally worldwide rights, and so all rights. So I would say, like, yeah, I mean, as long as the production is good and that we can, then it's fine. We will make
Sorry, David, we can't hear you. Can you repeat your answer again?
No, so I was just mentioning that for us, it's more about worldwide rights and all kind of rights, all kind of windows. That's one of our core acquisition points. We don't matter which kind of production is it, as long as we are keen on it, and the rights, all rights are available, then we can acquire.
Mm-hmm. And well,
currently we are in a very challenging time, not just in Hong Kong but globally. I'm sure my co-panelists would agree with me about it. As what our company continuously do is we focus on being creative and strategic and having a long-term mindset in all the content businesses that we do. So of course, partnership is key. So as the year progresses, so should be our mindset and our understanding of contents as well. So our audiences are very discerning and have a short span of time. And then I may quote what our CEO, Ms. Lavinia Chu, has mentioned. With our experience, knowledge of the markets and distribution network, our long-term goal is actually to own and distribute our own content and brands and create new markets, and then expand collaboration with our partners and customers in a win-win-win model. So really, partnership is key at this time. So yeah, so just a few words. So let us help you and share your stories in not just in Hong Kong but to the world as well.
More partnerships, yeah, and finally, Meg.
Yeah, for us, Viu is always welcome for all contents on both acquisition and co-production. Yes, our original, not only in Hong Kong and also the pan-regional markets, and also simulcast and even some good classic titles. But you can see that there's a trend that local goes global and global goes local, and all these contents can fits different audience interests. And if anyone has wonderful contents, you can text me.
Brilliant. A very practical segment, everyone. I would like to now take some questions from our attendees. I can see that we have had quite a lot come in, and I will try to address as many as possible. Let's start with Jojo, a question from Malaysia. For edutainment animated series, what are the suitable broadcasters for us to approach in the Hong Kong region?
I think for our mainstream channels, they tend to air Japanese animations or some well-known animations. So for educational content, I think we need to know whether this content is 3D or 2D, and the country of origin, whether this is made in Malaysia or co-produced with other territories, and number of episode and the length of time. I think he can feel free to contact me for giving me more information, then we can discuss what would be the potentials or channels we can pitch.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So please approach Jojo for more information. So another one for Michael. Staying in the animation space. Here's one from the US, I think. What opportunities are there for co-financing and co-production of animation series and full-length motion picture animation films?
Locally, in the near future, I think there'll be more opportunities for co-producing animated series that are locally relevant or will appeal to local audiences for our Disney channels. In the very short term, I think while we're in the midst of COVID-19, I think nothing will progress that quickly, but it is something we're interested in, and it is something we think will really help our channels resonate, and something I think we'll be getting more and more involved in. On the movie side, I think that's a pretty big step, and once we cut our teeth on several local series, that might be the next step that we look at. But there's definitely interest and appetite to look into that.
All right, great. And here's one from the UK for David. What type of factual content works in Hong Kong?
Yeah, so to come back to the factual contents, I would say any kind of heritage contents, discovery, you know, maybe food, maybe also alcohol, or any kind of thing that's related to the country. Like for UK, for example, I would say maybe, maybe also the heritage of the British colony in Hong Kong. That could be also something very interesting. We sell before some of them to RTHK, for example. After, there's no, you know, from UK, there's can be any kind of content because also the localization of the language is good for Hong Kong, is English. So there's no problem as long as the content is good and relevant.
Mm-hmm. And for Ruel, here's one from Russia. Do you consider buying scripted Russian content? If so, do you consider crime and action dramas?
Okay, we are open to all forms of content, and we can actually evaluate and discuss further those content offerings. In fact, we have we are currently handling Russian animation content. So, like what I have said earlier, we are open to all forms of content, and we can work something out from that. So, not just distribution. So we believe that one content can survive many years. So let's have a look on those, and then we start from there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And for Mac, here's one from the UK. Are you interested in acquiring series that are co-funded by brands? Do you accept product placement deals?
Yes. Viu is working in a dual revenue model with both subscription and advertising, and 50-50 right now. And of course, we will explore more monetization ways, and product placement is definitely a good idea for our original productions. And moreover, Viu has the technology to incorporate our partners' brand messages into our content. Through applying our automated machine learning video intelligence, we can do the scenes targeting to create the high relevancy with the advertising opportunities for our partners. Like say, McDonald's burger comes up next to the dining scenes in a drama, and we have a hair care product come with the scenes with someone having bath or doing makeup, and all these are new advertising formats, and call InfoLine, yeah, and it is a really a happy thing, products for the advertisers and advertising agencies, and all these are really open for discussion.
Mm-hmm. Great, so the answer is yes. So Jojo, one more for you from Japan. Are you interested in Japanese travelogue content?
Yes, as we are a distributor not only for Hong Kong, but for the Southeast Asia territories. And we are quite interested to learn about what kind of travelogue program is it? Like, is it with hosts or without hosts? Do they have English subtitles? And then do they have non-scripted or scripted number of episodes? So like we are pretty open for discussions, and they can contact us as well.
Mm-hmm. A lot to consider. Right, and David, here's one from China. How important is it for a show to have Cantonese dubbing?
I mean, show like TV content, or
yeah,
so no fictional.
Both.
Both. Yeah, I mean for fiction, for features, of course, Cantonese is important. But again, it depends of the contents. If it's drama, for example, it can be in original language with Cantonese subtitles, English and Cantonese. After, for any kind of shows on TV, I would say, yeah, it's much better, of course, dubbed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here's one for Michael from the US. I would love to hear the needs and demands change in Hong Kong, especially after the pandemic.
I think that's going to come down to something I touched on earlier, and I think the need is going to be the holes that I think a lot of channels and a lot of theaters and distributors will find in their schedule or in the content pipeline. Once things get started again internationally, local theaters also need to roll out movies so they can hit their subsequent windows. So I think we're going to have to get a lot more creative in where we go search for content to fill these holes. And on the series and documentary and pretty much all fronts, as production companies and producers have had real blockades or troubles keeping production up and running, there is going to be a pretty big hole throughout a lot of next year, it now looks like. So the big impact is going to be finding content to fill these holes that will keep our viewers and subscribers content and happy. And I guess the other thing to say to that, and trying to put a fairly positive spin on it, I think if we can get creative and start to try things we wouldn't have tried before, there could be a lot of positives that come out of this, because we can try to be more creative than we might have been if things were just moving along as they normally do. So there are a lot of interesting things that will come out of that.
Great. So here's one for Ruel from the Philippines. How does Filipino content look like for Hong Kong buyers?
By the way, just to let everyone know, I originally came from the Philippines. So I'm here in Hong Kong, Media Link 7 years ago.
Wow.
I would say that Filipino content can still be considered a niche content here in Hong Kong because of the culture difference. But no matter what, good content always breaks through in any kind of wall. So plus the fact that there are a lot of Filipinos here in Hong Kong, so there is always a good place for Filipino contents here. Not just TV series, but the movies as well. So similar to what happened way back in 2003, when Media Link introduced in the Philippines a very popular Taiwanese drama that became one of the factors that changed the content consumption on Philippine TV. So simply put, good content can really travel.
Great. And here's one from Kazakhstan for Meg. What do your viewers usually watch, and has the TV industry changed during the pandemic?
Will is performing well during pandemic. Compared between Q1 and Q2 figures in Hong Kong, our video minutes has increased 113%, and we got a lot of new application users increased by almost 120% like this. And also people staying at home for more time. The connected devices like smart TV usage increased tremendously. Some personal demand are switched to family usage. And on content-wise, the fans would like to watch our editors' playlist related to health. For example, we have the Korean drama Dr. John, Dr. Romantic, and Japanese drama Good Doctor. And I can tell you that all the viewerships are performing well in these few months. And this is another, not a secret thing, that a grade A Japanese drama called Unsung Cinderella, the hospital pharmacist will start simulcast in views this week. So I believe that more people will come here.
Great. Here's one from Japan for Jojo. Has the pandemic affected your company in the direction or strategy of acquiring foreign content?
Generally speaking, I believe the pandemic do arouse us the concern of like keeping us healthy. So these days we are getting more inquiry for the program regarding like health documentaries or like the history for the virus, this sort of so. So I think we will be looking to acquire more documentary these days, and even the program about the history of the previous outbreak for pandemic in human history. And most of the people, they stay at home, so we always get inquiry for like drama or animations. So I think it helped us to source more program from different producer and suppliers.
So the next one is from Japan for David. In your opinion, what sort of Japanese movies do well in the Hong Kong market?
I would say definitely manga. Manga, it's always a very good pick for Hong Kong. Of course, can be also art house animation, but definitely manga, yeah.
And here's one from Argentina for Ruel. Would you be open to receive Latin American content in short form? Short format. Yeah.
Same as what I mentioned earlier, we are open to all forms of content. So in Hong Kong are always updated and looking for interesting and attractive contents, as well as new ideas. With the continuous advancement of technology, new watching habits of consumers are being formed. So these short form contents, definitely we also have interest. Our company grows together with technology, so we believe that even short form contents can be the next big thing. So we can discuss this further, definitely.
Great. And here's one from India for Michael. Would you be interested in acquiring short films with English subtitles or in general?
Equally, we're interested, or we do look at short form content. Primarily, it would be for our kids channel. So for the Disney Channel's animation, we will look at short form content. We haven't really looked at it beyond that. And it's something we constantly go back and explore. I think the big thing missing for short form content is how to actually monetize it. It works really well on YouTube when it's a cat video that costs nothing to produce. So if you get a lot of views, it can actually be rather lucrative. But if you invest millions of dollars to make short form content and someone watches it and it's over with, I don't see where the return is or how it's monetizable. And if it's actually very successful and it's over in 30 seconds, what do you do? Do you keep making more of it? In which case you end up with a movie. And it's going to be hard to make the money back you could have made had you made a successful movie. So it falls in between. There's definitely an appetite for it. There are people that want to consume it, but there's still no real medium to actually make it monetizable or make the investment pay off yet, where there's still an appetite to binge successful series. And that there's a definite path to making it a financially viable model. On a lot of OTT services, if you end up with 6, 8, 12 hours of content, it hooks people and they stay, and then they wait for the next one. It's very challenging to try to do that in 5, 10, 30, 60-second chunks. So it's good content, but it would be hard for me to commit to paying any sort of reasonable sum of money or any money for it, because I can't find a way to get the return on it like I can on movies and binge-worthy series.
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks, Michael. And there are two similar questions for Meg, one from Switzerland and another one from Singapore. What is the latest trend in Hong Kong right now? What genre is most sellable? Also, what has been more attractive to you recently? Is it content from the Europe or US or content from around Asia?
Content is king for an OTT platform. And when we acquire contents, we will, based on different data analysis, and the key objective is to get help on our user acquisition and retention. And right now, the current, the number one genre for Viu Hong Kong is drama series and followed by anime. And for the drama series, we will also try simulcast and classic library. And of course, we will focusing on this and keep on searching good drama. And based on the data, existing the most popular trend is still the Asian contents, Asian drama, Korean, Japanese, and Chinese. But of course we are open to get more other genre, because as Ruel say that good content can travel and have the breakthrough, and so all these the drama will be our key focus right now, and not only for Hong Kong, and we can try for different other Viu markets. So we are keep on exploring, yes, mainly for drama first.
Great. So there are a lot more with specifics, but I'm afraid that that's all the time we have left for this very necessary session. Thank you, Meg, Jojo, Michael, David, and Well for the comprehensive information. It was time well spent, and appreciate your honest answers.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you, ATF, especially Lunita for organizing this great session. We hope it has illustrated opportunities and challenges for you to expand your footprint into the Hong Kong market. Don't forget to log on again tomorrow as ATF takes on China in its final episode of this incredibly insightful series. See you then.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.